Welcome to Old Nurse Knows. I'm Claire Kettler, Old Nurse, here to offer practical information about health, resources, and encouragement for you to improve your own physical, mental, and spiritual health. I've been privileged to be with families as their baby is born or their loved one is dying. I've seen frightening injuries and incredible recovery. I've spent years studying both medical and nursing topics. Own your health. You can be in charge. Hit the subscribe button. Feel free to check out my website, nhnursehealthcoach.org. Leave a like, leave a comment. I'd like to hear from you. Today's topic is Who Can You Trust in Healthcare? Episode 7. Today's quote is Those who trust in their riches will fall, but the righteous will thrive like a green leaf. Follow the money. Who's growing wealthy in the midst of a never ending pandemic emergency, and who's paying? The price the U.S. government paid for originally was $19.50 per COVID shot and then rose to $30.47 per shot in 22 and is expected to increase again this year. The U.S. government paid $3.2 billion for 105 million doses and has options to purchase 1.6 billion COVID shots, with 500 million COVID shots purchased at not-for-profit prices to be donated to poor countries. The U.S. government agreed to purchase 20 million 5-day courses of the new oral drug Paxlovid for $530 each course to treat early COVID. Paxlovid is now being advertised in February 2023 as free for those who need it. I wonder who should need it since so many people took the shot. Pfizer holds 70% of the U.S. and European market for the COVID shot. All of this government money has been spent for an ineffective and harmful product. Let me explain. COVID shots were only 30% effective in preventing infection in working age people at the Cleveland Clinic, and the risk of COVID 19 infection increased with the number of vaccine doses previously received. But now, former government employee Dr. Fauci has published that he knew the shot would not be effective. From Pfizer's own data, 1,233 people, or 3.7% of their study population, died in the first 12 weeks of the Pfizer vaccine rollout due directly to the shot. 4 deaths occurred on the same day as the shot administration, and the rest had a life-threatening side effect due to the shot and consequently died. Pfizer analyzed 42,000 people, a little more than, and they received the shot at the first rollout, and just under 20,000 people were either recovered or recovering from an adverse event at the time of the report. Over 11,000 people were not recovered from their adverse shot event at the time of the report, and Pfizer admitted that they did not know what happened to 9,400 people, which is 22% of the original, a little over 42,000 people they were following. Pfizer reported that from 24 hours to 21 days after receiving the shot, there were 102 cases of arrhythmia, which is a heart rhythm problem, 130 cases of heart attack, 91 cases of heart failure, 7 cases of cardiogenic shock, 32 cases of pericarditis, 25 cases of myocarditis. All of this data was hidden until a court ordered Pfizer to reveal it. Here's what Pfizer reported as a conclusion to analyzing the data just described on page 28 of their report. The data do not reveal any novel safety concerns or risks requiring label changes and support a favorable benefit-risk profile for the BNT162b vaccine. Pfizer gave this report to the U.S. FDA, who did not immediately pull the drug. Additionally, there was no research conducted and therefore no knowledge about safety for use in pregnant women, but large numbers of medical professionals recommended that pregnant and breastfeeding women receive the shot. However, embalmers in the life insurance industry flagged big problems in 2022. Embalmers started observing enormously large clots in the people they embalmed, and the insurance industry saw record-breaking high early death claims for working age and young individuals. The FDA recalls drugs with a medical claim frequently for all kinds of reasons, many of them with false advertising, inappropriate ingredients, or side effects. But not the COVID shot. See the link on the screen. In October 2020, The Lancet published an article requesting physicians to sign on to a worldwide vaccination campaign as the only effective strategy to prevent mass transmission of COVID. 7,000 physicians did sign, but then they came up with another thing saying that vaccines only were not effective enough. More must be done, such as high quality face masks for indoor gatherings and other high transmission settings. But let's look into face masks. Masks continue to be pushed by medical professionals, contrary to published evidence that all masks, even N95s, are ineffective to block the extremely tiny COVID virus. Masks were renamed facial coverings, and they continue to be pushed by the U.S. government, medical centers, state and local governments, schools, and the non-scientific social distancing was then meant to keep people apart and prevent them from talking about this new mask compliance effort, and also instill fear. Dissenting individuals who pointed out that the evidence that masks did not work against COVID were called names and publicly ridiculed, while scholarly journals stopped using the scientific method, which always starts with a question. So, who can you trust in healthcare? Sadly, just about no one. Almost all healthcare professionals complied with all the mandates and recommended the harmful shot to every patient. Many health professionals went along with the official government narratives from the beginning and then mandates because they could not afford to go against them. They did not want to lose their professional license to practice or their employment income. My institution made up their own policy that a physician who prescribed a drug not on the official government COVID protocol was threatened with firing. If a physician was fired for doing something that they had done all their professional life, and it was the standard physician critical thinking, but now they were told not to do it or be fired, they usually complied. This policy was totally contrary to previous evidence-based practices and a research focus at this particular institution, but this has probably happened around the country. If every single potential employer was mandating the same things like taking the shot, wearing a mask, weekly testing, daily temperature taking, most but not all medical professionals felt financially trapped in their jobs and so complied, even if they disagreed with what they were being told to do. Likewise, outside of healthcare, many people submitted to a vaccine mandate against their will because they could not afford to lose their livelihood and way to make a living. But now, many young adults are dying suddenly with no cause of death apparent. Following along a path of everyone submitting to the shot seemed like one idea among many that deserved debate. But those that stepped off the path of 100% compliance were criticized heavily and ridiculed and called names. As an RN, I knew when the shot was offered to me in January 2021 that it was a bad deal for me because I had already had COVID. I understood immunity, and I read all the safety information. I did not consent. I don't fault anyone for making the choice to personally take the shot, but medical professionals who recommended the shot to patients while they were in possession of the safety information that they did not share with them must admit that they were wrong about it being safe and effective. They must apologize to their patients and make changes going forward. There was a lot of pressure to take the shot. As you know, many commercials by Hollywood people on TV, radio, and social media, billboards, family physicians, specialists, and pediatricians saying it's safe and effective, you need to take it. Our chief nursing officer even sent an email out to vaccine-hesitant nurses in September 2021 saying, "We'll hold your hand while you get the shot, but you need to get it." Meanwhile, the Vaccine Adverse Event Reporting System, or VAERS, I put a link on the screen, was showing many adverse events and deaths. You can search this database yourself. I resigned. Back again to who can you trust in healthcare? Basically, no one. You will have to learn to trust yourself, ask questions, use critical thinking, and seek out multiple sources of health-related information. Can you trust the FDA, the National Institutes of Health, the CDC, your state public health agency, or the big health institution in your state? No. You should not blindly ever trust any of these again. Unless your healthcare provider is in a private practice for themselves and not beholden to a hospital or beholden to Medicare and Medicaid funding, there is very little chance that they will be able to give you a true risk-benefit picture of any medical thing moving forward. Prior to COVID, physicians always described the risks and benefits of a medication, procedure, or surgery, and then the patient made an informed decision about whether to consent to this potentially dangerous and effective or ineffective treatment, not knowing. Once COVID hit, there was no more informed consent. Risks and benefits were not reviewed with patients in any real way. Critical thinking was suspended, and physicians and healthcare providers became blinded by everything COVID. Bureaucratic federal organizations such as the CDC and the NIH are more interested in making sure that they have lots of government funding for their pet projects and lots of corporate donations than to give you correct health information. Every single recommendation made by a bureaucratic U.S. agency must be critically examined for you. For instance, what are your specific risks and benefits to getting a colonoscopy every recommended interval? Recommendations for universal, invasive, or radiologic screenings or vaccines or prophylactic medications must be critically examined to see if you need or want the screening or medication. I personally will never consent to another vaccine again due to the pervasive lies of the medical establishment, but you will have to make your own decision about that. Make no mistake, healthcare is big business, and so is medication. Money can only be made when you are sick or seem to need a medication. If you're well and not needing any healthcare or medication, no one's making any money from you. Scholarly medical journals, medical institutions, and the touted evidence-based medicine has all become corrupted. And it's been corrupted by big pharma and corporate money and greed. Unfortunately, everything that you might know about healthcare must now be questioned. Questioning health professionals when it comes to your own health should be your new normal. And who's liable for this horrible COVID shot and what it might have done to an individual? Vaccine manufacturers are not liable due to liability protections obtained several decades ago. The only U.S. compensation program that COVID shot victims can apply for is the Countermeasures Injury Compensation Program. And I put a link on the screen for that, which requires filing and proof by 1 year of injury. Only 14 claims in the U.S. have been deemed eligible for compensation for the COVID shots pending the benefit determination. As of January 2023, this has not been made. Over 10,000 claims are still in review as of January 2023, and 500 claims have been dismissed or denied. For those injured by the COVID shot, I am hopeful that some medical professionals will be able to come up with some treatments and protocols to help ease your suffering and prevent further damage to you and your family members. We in the U.S. are guaranteed protection from enemies, foreign and domestic, by our government, and now this guarantee has been lost. It's been breached by our government. Unelected U.S. government bureaucrats, many of our elected leaders, and pharmacological companies have exploited you to make a profit. These actors welcome ushering in the New World Order with a biomedical security state to control and enslave you with fear, ever-increasing taxation, and ill health for the transfer of your money and property to them, until you will eventually own nothing and be happy. Several books published in late 2022 and early 2023 have done a great job of citing all the sources needed to understand this information that I've touched on only briefly. It's possible that those who drank the Kool-Aid over COVID mandates will never admit that there's a problem, even if the evidence is overwhelming. Back to our quote, "Those who trust in their riches will fall, but the righteous will thrive like a green leaf." There will be trials, judgment, and punishment for the crime of COVID, the disease, and the failed treatments resulting in death and injury. But it may not happen in my lifetime or yours. People who are concerned only with making money do not have your best interest at heart, even if they say they do. The shot push was about certain people and groups amassing money, bringing about 100% compliance, and weakening people worldwide, not only in the U.S. The tide may be turning as many are becoming aware of the deceit, and the internet is becoming slightly less censored of dissenting opinions. Trust no medical professional blindly ever again. You can own your own health. You actually have way more power than you know in what you eat and do every day. Think critically, ask questions, make a risk-benefit assessment for yourself about everything medical before you act, and seek out alternative medical information. Till next time, this is Claire, old nurse on Old Nurse Knows. If life gives you lemons, make lemonade and then enjoy your lemonade. Visit me on my website at nhnursehealthcoach.org.